Good evening, folks.
Hello, 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 everyone. How are you? Okay. Hey, Chris. Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to Wealthy Trusty Community Live Q&A. I'm super excited to see you guys. How is everyone?
Wonderful.
Hey,
Wonderful.
Christine.
Hi, Christina.
Hi, Miss Dina. How are
Oh,
you?
great.
Looking beautiful as usual. I'm excited to see you.
Yes.
Hi,
Awesome.
Christina.
Awesome.
Hi, Christine.
Hi, Miss Ramonda. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Awesome. Looking fabulous. I love
Hi,
it.
Christina. How are you?
Hi, Miss Kamala. Oh, I see you. I see you. Awesome.
Greetings, everyone. This is my first meeting. I'm sorry. I don't
Oh,
know.
hi,
Oh,
Latoya. How
hi.
are
Welcome.
you?
Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay,
Christina.
guys. Hi.
Hi,
How are you?
Christina.
Hi. Hi, Miss Betty. How are you?
I'm good. Long time no see.
Yes, long time no see. So
Yes,
glad that you're here, Miss Betty.
I am too.
So, hello to everyone. I'm glad that you guys was able to make it this evening. So, this call is going to be short and sweet. I just want to be able to answer any questions that you guys might have that haven't been answered either on the Facebook community or the Telegram chat or email or text message. So, I do want to let you guys know that I don't have an executive assistant at the moment. And so because of that, the response rate has been a little delayed, but no worries. We just hired somebody today, so you're going to be seeing some new faces in the chats as well as the Facebook community and as well as here on Zoom. So, what I want to do is before we get started, I want to answer the top questions that I get all the time. And after I'm done answering those questions, then we can dive into Q&A and you can ask your very specific question. So if you guys want to raise your hand, we can, you can get started with that. And then I'll go just based off of, whose hand is raised, and we'll be able to go through Q&A. I'll also be looking at the chat. Now, our session today is only 60 minutes, so I'm going to answer as many questions as I humanly possibly can. If we run out of time, then I will try to see if I can get a second session in this week. So we will see how far or how much we can get through, okay? So with that being said, let me just dive right in to the top questions that I usually get because a lot of you guys are in the process of setting up your trust. And so those are like the, most pertinent questions that I see all the time. So let me just go right into that. Give me one second. I'm trying to share my screen here. Okay, new. Let's see here. One second. Let me minimize this. Okay, where is my screen? Let's get this. There it is. Let's see if Zoom will allow me to share. Okay, you guys can see my screen? Perfect. Okay, so let's just dive into the questions. So the first question is who can be the grantor? So I see this question all the time. So the grantor has to be 18 years or older. The grantor ideally the grantor is somebody's already drawing on the screen. So ideally the grantor is the creator of the trust, right? So they are going to be creating the trust with you. So you're going to appoint yourself as a trustee and someone else needs to be appointed as the grantor since the trust is irrevocable. Now, best practice is for you to choose someone who you're not related to. Your plan B is to choose somebody that you are related to. Okay, so you can choose like a best friend, a coworker, a neighbor, someone like that who is able to notarize the trust with you. Okay, so that is the person that you want to use as a grantor. Okay, best practice is to use someone you're not related to, and then if you cannot find someone to be your grantor, another option is that we do have a volunteer directory for people in our community. So we have over 1,000 people in our community. So some of them have volunteered to serve as a grantor. Okay, so if you cannot find a grantor, just refer to your email inbox where it has the volunteer list. Okay. Last resort, like I said, is a relative. A relative is still okay, but that is your last you know the word, I'm sorry. Last result um, because sometimes in a grantor trustee relationship, because that person is a family member, you don't want it to seem as if you're subordinate to that family member, okay? All right, so let's go on to the next question. Hold on for me one second. All right, so the next question is, what are the grantor duties? Okay, so remember the grantor is the creator. So what they have to do is they have to legally notarize the trust with you, the trustee. Okay, so what they have to do is they have to sign in front of a notary. Now, if your grantor is in a different state, then the solution to that situation is that you are going to email them the signature pages, or you will ship them the signature pages, okay? So for every trust indenture, there's about 5 to 6 pages depending on the actual trust that need to be notarized and require the grantor signature. So those are the pages that you're going to share with the grantor so that their signature is notarized in their respective county and state, okay? Now, the next thing outside of notarizing the trust is they are responsible for obtaining the EIN, okay? So that means that on the SS4 form online and the actual downloadable form, you are going to put their first name, their middle or initial, and their last name, okay? Oh, hold on for me one second. And okay, so it's their full legal name and then their social security number, okay? So that is what is going to be asked of you on the SS4 form, okay? Now, the last thing that I will tell you is that when you go to open up a bank account, depending on the bank that you use, sometimes they'll ask you for the grantor's name. Sometimes they'll ask you for their name and their social. Sometimes they'll go as far as asking for an address and a date of birth. It depends on the bank. Not every single bank asks you for this information, okay? So that grantor has to also be willing and able to disclose that information if you need to obtain a bank account, if you've chosen a bank that requires those details, okay? All right, let's go to the next question. So whose social security number is used to get the EIN? So I get this question a lot. It is the grantor social security number. So there's 2 pages that ask for the grantor and the trustee. So the first page asks for the responsible party. The responsible party is the grantor. So you're going to put the grantor's full name and their social. Then when you proceed to the next page, they're going to ask you for the trustee's name. So you have to put your name as the trustee, or if you have a co-trustee, you'll put their names, okay? So it is the grantor's social security that's required. Now, if your grantor does not want to disclose their social security, you can still obtain the EIN with your social security number, but that is not the best practice, okay? Because that's not the guidelines that the IRS provides on the SS4 form, okay? But I just want to let you know that if you do put your information on that screen under responsible party, you're still going to end up with an EIN, okay? All right, let's move on to the next one. So the next question that I see all the time is, can the beneficiary be a successor? So the answer is yes. A beneficiary can be a successor trustee as long as at the time of appointment, meaning the time that you're putting this beneficiary, listing them as the successor, they are at least 18 years or older, okay? And they are not the sole beneficiary. So there has to be other beneficiaries listed on the trust in order for a beneficiary to be appointed as a successor trustee. Okay. All right, let's go to the next question. All right, so the next question is, can I transfer a house into a trust if it has a mortgage? So the answer is yes. So as long as you have the deed to the property, you can deed that property into any other entity or person's name that you wish, right? So the fact that the house has a mortgage doesn't prevent you from transferring ownership, okay? Now, when it comes to your mortgage, you are still legally responsible for that mortgage, and that mortgage is still going to be in your personal name, and that mortgage is still going to remain on your personal credit. Okay. But if you decide to deed over that property from your personal name into the trust, you can do that, and your mortgage is going to remain intact. Now, a lot of people, they have worries about the due on sale clause. So the due on sale clause is a clause within your mortgage agreement that if you transfer the property from your name into someone else's name, then the mortgage company can call the loan due, meaning that the entire balance of the mortgage is due now. Now, that is only applicable if you transfer it from your personal name into someone else's personal name, or if you transfer it from your personal name into an LLC. It is not applicable if you transfer it from your personal name into a trust entity, okay? So there's something that I want you to look up. It's called the Garn-St. Germain Act of 1982, and that act is what protects you from the due on sale clause being, being initiated or accelerated if you transfer your property into a trust for asset protection, okay? All right, so that is it for the questions that I wanted to answer. I know that some of you guys had those questions, so that's perfect. So now I just want to dive into Q&A. So we do have 45 minutes left, so I'm going to answer as many questions as I humanly possibly can. So the first hand that I see is Samuel, and then I'll also be going into the chat if you guys want to put questions in the chat as well, okay? So hey Samuel, how are you? Hi,
Great.
Samuel.
I'm grateful.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear you at first.
Yeah, I didn't unmute. I started speaking before I muted. Well, thank
Oh,
you for
okay.
hosting
Awesome.
this session. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome.
I'm going to ask two questions. One
Okay.
is when paying for the postal services for the trust, should you use your personal card in order to do it, or should you establish the bank account and then do it?
So you want to have that address before you establish the bank account because the bank is going to ask you for the trust address. So what you want to do is you want to so you're going to have to pay personally, and then at that point once you have the trust bank account established, then you're going to update your payment method. So because that is going to be the financial responsibility of the trust for them to pay for their virtual address.
Got it. The second question is when it comes to activating the trust, I understand that one way is to put the documents in a registered mail and mail it to yourself. When you do it in that format, do you open it or do you keep it closed once you receive it back?
So, so that is a really good question. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know the answer. I don't know if you open it or if you close it. So, my question to you is how many trust documents do you have, right? Because if you only have one copy and you certified mail it to yourself, you have to be able to operate with that one copy.
I have several
Several
notarized
copies.
copies. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, that's good. So, I I'm not familiar with the process, so I don't know if you open it or if you know leave it unopened.
All right, I'm gonna hold on to it until we find out together.
Okay,
Christina,
sounds good.
can I answer his question if it'll be okay? This
Yeah,
is Nana.
go for it.
So I was gonna say, it could be, I could be right or I could be wrong. Okay. But when I did like a divorce, what I was advised is to get several notarized copies and mailed one to myself that I don't open. So that way, if anybody asks for a original copy or a certified copy, I have it. So you can do several like that. And then I have one that I just carry around for the uncertified copies. That's what I was told. So if that'll help any.
And
Well, that was some good feedback, and that's what we're all here for. So thank you. I know that if you wanted to copyright something, then you would certify mail it to yourself, and you would keep it unopened. So I'm not sure if it's the same process with the trust, but you know, it sounds like best practice is for you to keep it unopened, especially if you have multiple copies.
yes. So I'll focus on that. Is if
Well, Samuel, if you don't have to open it, don't open it.
Well, the thing is, I'm putting the birth certificate inside, and I only have one. So if it goes in there,
Oh,
it's in there.
no. Well, you can get multiple birth certificates, but why you don't just put a copy versus the original? But you can go to Vital Statistics and get another copy of the original birth certificate.
Yeah, I ordered one from Jamaica. I'm waiting for it to arrive, and then I'll mail it out.
Oh, I thought you was talking about the US. Okay, I'm not sure how Jamaica works, so I totally understand. Okay.
I yield my time back.
Thank you, Samuel. All right, so let's see here. Someone in that chat asks if you transfer your home into a trust, will you lose your homestead exemption? So that is a really good question, Tabitha. So no, you will not lose your homestead exemption, but there is an extra form. So with your county, now every single county has different forms. They have different policies, have different procedures. Okay, so your county versus the next county next door can do things very differently. Okay. But all you have to do is let them know that you want to maintain your homestead exemption. There's a form that you would fill out as a trustee, and then they will go and process it. All right, so next we have Jason. Hey, Jason.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly. How
Hey,
are you?
hey, hey, how you doing today? Hey, I have two questions. I have a trucking business, and with the LLC, if I transfer it into the business trust, what happens to all the expenses with the LLC? Do I continue to deduct all my expenses as regular through the LLC?
Yeah, everything remains intact. So if you have payroll, if you have utilities, your leases, everything remains intact. So all of the financial responsibilities of the LLC are still going to belong to the LLC.
Okay, so let's say I have $100,000 in expenses. I write that off with the LLC. So what happens with the extra money for the business trust? Do I transfer that over to the business trust or whatever's left over?
Yeah, so you can do a K-1 distribution and you can distribute the extra funds to the owner of the business, which is the business trust.
Okay, and then my second question is, what is the difference between you said with the business trust, we can have the family trust as the beneficiary, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so what's the difference between having the family being the beneficiary and just having can you just skip over that and just go straight to the ministry trust being the beneficiary of the business trust?
Yeah, you can if that's what you want. It doesn't have to be the family trust that's the beneficiary. So, you can make whoever or whatever you want the beneficiary, okay? So it doesn't have to be the way that we, show you how to do it. So if you want your children to be direct beneficiaries, or if you want the ministry trust, or if you want another entity, it can happen that way.
Okay, so if I decide to do the ministry trust and if I distribute whatever's left out of the business trust, to say I had $100,000 within a business trust, so I can transfer that $100,000, all of it, into the ministry trust, and won't be taxed.
So you have to be careful with the words that you're using, okay? So there are two ways of moving money around to other entities. One way is a distribution, the second way is a contribution. So
Right.
the way that the ministry trust is designed is the ministry trust is designed to receive charitable contributions, not distributions, okay? Because of the type of entity that it is. So the ministry trust is exempt from federal income taxes, but if you're doing a distribution is income. So you're going to cause the ministry trust to be forced to report that distribution as income, and then it would have to file a 1041. So it has to be moved as a charitable contribution, which means it would not be the beneficiary.
So I can contribute to the ministry the whole $100,000 and I won't be taxed on that, correct?
Correct. So that whole 100,000 is tax deductible from whatever entity did the charitable contribution. Okay. So it's 100% tax deductible on that entity side, and then it's received to the ministry as a charitable contribution, which is 100% tax exempt. Okay.
And one last question, if I may. Now,
Yes, sir.
you said something about the real estate. So investment property or even your home. If we put that in the family trust, what about if we put that in the ministry trust? If we put it in the ministry trust, you say we can file with the clerk to get the tax exempt from the property tax?
So you have to do an application with your county where the property is located, and you would apply for property tax exemption.
Okay, now will you still be able to deduct the expenses from the home in the ministry, like the mortgage expense, utilities and all that? Can you still deduct that out of the ministry, or is it best just to leave it in the family trust to get the full benefits of the expenses?
So best practice is whichever entity actually owns the property, it's that entity's financial responsibility. So you cannot do it that way to where it's the family trust expense, but it's owned by the ministry trust. So the ministry trust is the one that has to pay the mortgage and utilities and things of that nature.
Okay, so the ministry trust is responsible for that if it's inside the ministry trust. Do we file that on the 1041 form on the ministry trust?
It is.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome, Jason. All right, next, I see a question in the chat that says, when setting up the banking accounts, Are we asking for personal irrevocable checking or savings that's used for the business or charity, or the trust account called irrevocable business or irrevocable charity? That's a really good question. So when you go to the bank, you're going to let them know that you want to set up a bank account. So specifically, generally, it is a checking account. And it could be checking or savings, but let's just say for simplicity, a checking account for an irrevocable trust. So less is more when you're opening up a bank account. So you're not going to go into details about I'm opening up a business trust account, I'm opening up a 508c1a ministry or charitable. You're going to confuse the banker and everyone in that organization. So for simplicity purposes and for you to actually navigate through this banking system, you need to let them know I'm opening up a bank account for an irrevocable trust. All right, next we have Miss Kamala. Hey, Miss Kamala.
Hi, Christina. Sorry about that.
Hi.
Okay. My question is that okay, can you print out the papers and do it manually? Do you have to do it on the computer or laptop? Because I'm so behind in doing my paperwork. It would be so much easier for me to do it, print it out and do it. Can you do that? Is that
So, I so it's when you say print it out, so are you going to put a line and then you're going to handwrite the name of the trustee? Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
Because,
just do
because a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll print out the template, they'll start filling it out, and then they'll go back into the digital version to go in and fill everything out once they've already done it on paper. But that handwritten one, like I would not, I wouldn't recommend that you use it. I would recommend that everything's like typed up, clean, concise, and printed digitally.
Okay, so all right. So basically what you're saying, I could print out a first copy, do it manually, and then later on do it on the computer, whatever I have written in, just do a copy.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. A lot of people do it that way. So they'll
Yeah.
do it, they'll have the template, and they will work on the template. They'll figure out everything that they'll need. They'll, create, their purpose, their intent, things like that. So they'll work on it until they finalized it. And then the final version, they'll go back to the Word document and they will type in all of the final information.
Okay, because I'm so behind in doing mine because I'm always busy working, but I want to get it done. So I was wondering, because when I'm listening back to your videos and then trying to do it like that, but sometimes I don't have the time to go through it all. So if I could just print it out and just write down stuff on there, then I could go back and then just insert everything on the computer. All right, that was my question. Thank you.
You're welcome, Miss Kamala. All right, next we have Miss Dina. Hi, Miss Dina.
Hi. Okay,
How are
here's my
you?
question. I'm good. Um, how long do you have to wait before you can put the LLC in the business trust?
Oh, you don't have to wait at all. So you can do it
Oh,
right now if you wanted to. So, um, but I know that you created your LLC because you're working with Brian and he's getting you funding. So if you're in the middle of funding, you don't want to make any drastic changes right now. You want to get the funding that you need with the LLC, and then you go and do your amendments to your articles of organization, okay? So if you're still actively working with Brian, and he's working on, getting that like utilizing your LLC, don't do anything in the middle of those transactions.
okay, got it. The next question is about the the FBO. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So, oh yeah, and by the way, I did get my sales tax exemption. I was worried about it. I got
Yay!
it. So,
Congratulations, beautiful. I'm so glad to
thank
hear that.
you. I'm telling you, everything you told me to do, I did it, and it came through. But here's my
Yes.
question. Now that I got that paper, because I went into an establishment where I could order large quantities of things, for the organization, right? So they're
Yes,
the
yes,
ones that gave me that form. Now
yes.
that I have that form, can I use that everywhere or only at that store? The tax exempt form that I got.
It depends because if it's issued with the state, then you will be able to use it in all the stores.
Okay. All right. Here's my last question. I'm looking at a property now, and we want to open the property up and have it used, but we want to do it under the nonprofit through the trust, right? When we get the property, we want to use it as a group home because that's the population of people that we are caring for, people that have mental illness and that need housing. So we want to turn it into a group home. My question is, once we get the group home, I will have to hire staff. So how do I use that property under the nonprofit, FBO, and then still have staff that is working for the group home?
So, the group home, I don't know if you want to use another entity for the group home
Uh-huh.
because you can do is if the property can be owned by the ministry and then the
Uh-huh.
ministry can lease it to a another company that runs the group
Oh.
home, or the ministry can actually work with a staffing company that will be responsible for staffing the group home.
Oh, okay. I was trying to figure it out. That seems the easiest route. I'm gonna take that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
You're so welcome. And that's the best thing to do for liability, to have two separate entities doing that, just in case.
Okay, got it. Mm-hmm.
All
Thank you.
right, you're welcome. All right, the next question I see is from Vicky. She says, can we transfer from the LLC to the trust without having to deal with the due on sale clause? Yeah, absolutely. So, if the property is in an LLC and you want to deed it over to the trust, that's perfectly fine. So it's not going to trigger the due on sale clause. Um, all right. Next we have Angie. Hey, Angie.
Hey, Christina, it's Angelique.
How?
How are you
Hey,
doing?
Angelique. I'm great. How are you, honey?
Good, good, good. So I have a recurring question about my grantor. My grantor for my business trust. We made a mistake, and she's the trustee on my EIN. And I submitted the form to have it changed, but they won't change it because they said that the name that is the responsible party, which was her, that's the name that's going to be the trustee.
No,
So
because
they want,
if you look on your EIN, if it has the title at the end, which says TTEE, that's the person who's labeled as the trustee on the EIN confirmation letter.
well, they won't change it. I talked,
Okay,
I
so
spoke. So what do I do? How do I cancel it? Do I delete it? I don't know what to do because they won't change it.
yeah, so if I was you, I find that, did you talk to more than one representative? Because I find that like very challenging for them not to be able to help you do the corrections that you need.
Well, you probably don't remember, but I
Oh,
showed you the letters that they gave me two times. And I talked to someone, and she said what I just said. She said that is whoever is the responsible party, and that person name is the responsible party. That is going to be the trustee. So
I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're going through that.
yeah,
So what I would do is I would just do I would apply for a new EIN for the entity. So the entity can have multiple EINs. Just depending on what the purpose is, if it's banking purposes, if it's new business endeavors or partners, things like that. So I think your best bet is to just apply for a new EIN and to do the application correctly.
okay. So
Miss Christina,
when
I wanted to say with Miss Angie again,
yeah,
it seems like a lot of us are going through the same thing. So I tried to do the same thing with a business. Actually, my question is posted in there, but I tried to take my business. I applied for an EIN for it in 2023, and now I wanted to make it a trust. So when I did, it said it couldn't do it. So what the IRS representative told me was write a letter telling them you want to close this EIN and then do the handwritten SS4 and
yeah,
send that way. But she said it takes 30, I called them again today. She said it takes 30 days to close out an EIN. So it may work for you. So send a letter saying, I don't want this EIN, close this EIN. That way they'll close it out of that person's name, out of that person's social, out of that EIN, wait 30 days. But then in the meantime, apply for that SS4 for the new name. And so now, and then put them as the trustee. So that's just what they told me. So
okay.
That sounds like a good way to go. That's why I was asking if you spoke to another representative, because sometimes when you speak to multiple representatives, you'll get
You
the
get
right
different
and correct
answers.
contact. Yeah, different answers. I know. Don't just
Yeah,
depend on one person.
I had the
Yeah.
same issue too. Hey, ladies. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hey,
I got, hey, look,
You know what?
it
This is
was
my
my birthday.
person.
I need a birthday shout out. Hold on, because it went down on my birthday on Sunday. So, and Leo's in the
happy
building.
birthday.
Yeah,
Happy
happy birthday,
birthday.
Madison and Leo. Yeah, thank you. So look, I had the same issue, and what they told me was, and just with my other EIN, I have somebody else on the EIN, and they said that really doesn't matter. But if you do want to make the changes, you can do that same form, the 8801, I believe, a S4, and they say you can change it. You just have to change the ownership part and the address, whatever that case is a simple format. And they also said that really doesn't matter too much. What matters the most is that you have the letter and you have the certificate of trust. That's the biggest deal. And I find that to be true because I went forward on that premises as well. So you do have to talk to a lot of people because they'll give you a lot of different immature responses.
Yeah. Thank you, Asset.
Oh, the wrong one.
Yeah, okay. Angelique, do you have any other questions? We do have to move forward and we only have 20 minutes left.
That's it. That's all I
All
have.
right. Okay, thank you. All right. Next we have Miss Rose. Hey, Miss Meredith Rose, how are you?
Hi, Christina. So good to see you. Hi, everybody. I'm asking for some clarity about this, about the FBO, the ministry. I mentioned this to you once before, Christina. I'm still kind of looking for some clarity on it. When I called the IRS, they told me that I didn't have a nonprofit. My EIN was not a nonprofit. And they asked me to check with the state of California. State of California told me the same thing. So what I'm curious about is, if someone gives me a donation to my ministry, but they happen to call the IRS to check on me, they would be told that I wasn't a nonprofit. So I feel really concerned about going forward and telling anybody to donate to me and giving them a slip with my name on it, with the name of my trust on it. So it's kind of confusing. And also there's this issue with the tax thing. They want you to file a 990 or you're going to lose your EIN number. And if I'm not mistaken, when I asked you about this before, you said, well, I could file a new EIN number, but I don't want to do that every year. Totally. So, you said you weren't really that solid on the tax implications here, whether I have to file a 990 or not. Do you know if I do?
So my previous response to you is going to be the same response that I'm going to give you now, Ms.
Okay.
Rose, which is when it comes to the taxes and filing your 990, I recommend that you go with our team of CPAs, which is Jeff Badu and Badu Taxes. So
Yeah.
I know that you've had discussions with them, and I told you that whatever they recommend for your structure, because you have more than one thing going on, that you go with their recommendation. So that was my response then, and that's still my same response.
Okay, great. I just haven't, Willow has not asked Jeff that question, and I was just hoping maybe I could get it from you. But the second part of this is that the person who holds the title on where I live and where I have the ministry, I just want to make sure that that person is entitled to deducting the HOA fees and possibly the property taxes on this property. That is, I am correct in that, right?
So for the 508, you are only exempt from federal income taxes. You are not exempt from property taxes. You
Okay.
have to apply with the county for property tax exemption.
Okay. But what about the HOA fees that are paid on this property? Would that be something that that person could deduct, the person who holds the title?
So it is a tax deductible. So once again, I'm not sure who that person is and what, what their tax situation is. So that's why like
Yeah.
I can't go further into it because
Right.
they have people that provide those services to them.
Yeah, I see. But at any rate, I still need the virtual PO, whether or not whether or not I'm seen as a nonprofit by the IRS, I still have to have the virtual PO. Is that correct?
The virtual address?
Yes.
So it's recommended that you have that the trust entity has its own address.
Right. And so I shouldn't call it a nonprofit. I should call it an FBO or a ministry. Is that correct?
It's a faith-based organization, and when we previously had a conversation, you were concerned about it being registered with the state. So it is unincorporated, which means that it is not statutory, it is not registered with the state, they cannot look it up, and that was your concern. And I told you that if you're concerned with people being able to see if they're able to look it up through the state, then you should go and register it with the state. That is what I told you.
Right. But you never mentioned that before. So if that was just something that happens with some states, or do you recommend, I think you said something like, well, it depends on how you want to run the FBO. But since I'm
That's correct. So it's correct. It depends on how you want to run the FBO. So for example, if you want government grants, if you want federal funding, if you want things like this, then it has to be registered. There's no way for you to get around it. But an FBO is not required to be registered.
I
So
see.
it depends on the trustee if they want to do that. We have had several trustees in our community that have decided that it is their best interest to register it. So one of our trustees, he runs a Christian school. And so they get like the Pell Grants and the scholarships and all this federal funding. And so he had to register it with the state in order for him to continue to receive that funding. So it depends on how you run your organization.
But if it weren't a federal grant, say it was a private grant, would it still be the correct thing to register with the state?
So when you say private grant, are you talking about, so, okay, if it's a private institution that's giving a grant, they have their own requirements. And so some of them do require for you to be registered. Some, it's not a requirement. They want to see your documentation. So their requirements of what you have to do in order to be approved for the grants is up to that foundation.
I see. Okay, thanks a million. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. All right, next we have Ambassador Wealth Management.
Sylvia.
Sylvia, I know. I just can't remember. I'm so sorry.
No, you're okay.
I feel like I should know this because I always see your LLC name here.
That's okay. I think you may have answered the question by me listening, but I did want to just still say something. But in regards to the taxes, I was just talking to my tax guy, and he was saying that I was telling him that I was putting things into a trust, and he was like, "Why are you doing that? Because the trusts have high taxes or something." I'm like, he didn't even ask me what kind of trust I had. So I didn't know. So maybe I need to talk to your tax person and see.
You should talk to my tax person because and it's not my tax person, it's a person for our community. Okay. So he's designated for all of our community members to be able to reach out and for him to be able to best advise you guys. Okay. So I would definitely go through that route. I can drop his link in the chat for everyone who needs it. And so it depends on the income that the trust, that the trust earns, right? So a trust can be taxed anywhere between 10%, which is technically not that high, upwards of 37%, which is very high, right? That's higher than an LLC. So it depends on your unique strategy, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So I'll put that link in the chat. All right. Any other questions, Miss Sylvia?
That's it.
Okay, fantastic.
All right. Thanks.
Next we have Miss Ramonda. How are you? You're still on mute.
Yeah, I was. I'm sorry. Couldn't get it to get there.
It's okay.
Okay. I got a couple of questions. The first one, I turned in some questions on the little thing. Do you have access to that?
I can't hear you.
I turned in some questions on the when we submitted turned in our invites. It says send your preliminary questions. Do you have access to that?
I do. I looked at it today.
Okay. Can you send me those questions back? Because I thought I copied them and I wanted to ask those questions. I thought you was going to go over those, but I can get those answers later. I do have a couple of questions that I want to ask that I can remember that was on there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The first quick one is the beneficiaries. Okay. When you get to the page where you are assigning TCUs, I'm confused on this. If I am the trustee and I'm putting property that's in the trust that my dad gave to me, on that page where you are assigning the TCUs, am I putting myself as the TCU person there? I'm confused as to where I go in the trust.
Oh, okay. Are you the trustee or no?
Yes, I'm the trustee.
Your dad is the trustee?
No, I'm the trustee. I'm the trustee.
Okay. All right. So are you able to issue yourself TCUs? Yes. There also has to be TCUs issued to other people. You can't be the sole beneficiary of 100% of the TCUs.
Okay. Do they have to be 18 and older to get the TCU?
No. They could be 30 days old, 10 days old. They could be born yesterday. They just have to be born.
Okay. The reason I'm asking that is because along with that, my dad redid his will. And in his will, all of his things are going to me that he put into the trust, that we put into the trust. But he also put some things in there for my son. But my son is a minor. He's 11. So that's why I thought my name would be the only name under the 100 TCUs.
Beneficiaries can be minors. It's inside of the trust documents under beneficiaries.
Yeah, I saw that, but I guess I was confused as to who get the 100 TCUs actually. I know there's the page where you list individual beneficiaries.
Correct. Yes. Yes. So if your beneficiary is a minor, then those beneficial that beneficial interest is managed by the beneficiary's legal guardian. Their legal guardian or their court-appointed guardian or their conservator or whoever is responsible for that minor.
So I'm the minor's mother. I am the trustee. So that's okay. Plus my husband.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so that I guess that was confusing to me. So the next question follow along with that, like when I'm adding to the trust, I guess I try to be alphabetical. I think my page numbers are getting off. So when I get ready to do the minutes, I only did minutes for the bank account and those TCUs. But what if I find something else that needs to go in there? Do I still need to do minutes and get those minutes notarized, or do I just do minutes?
You do minutes and it needs to be signed by you and whoever attended the meeting. It doesn't need to be notarized.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because I was having. Then my next question is, as far as beneficiaries, I remember the business trust beneficiary will be the family trust, correct?
Yep.
Okay. The family trust and the ministry trust, who are those beneficiaries? The ones who, the family trust, it will be the people that I name inside that schedule. Okay, but who would the ministry, who would the ministry trust be? Who would be the beneficiary?
So the ministry trust cannot have a human as a beneficiary, so it has to have an entity. It's whatever entity you want.
Okay, so it could be the family or the business.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, that's what I had. If you can send me those questions back to me, that will help. Or if you can read some of them at the end, if nobody have any, that will help also.
Okay, we have 6 more minutes. So what I'll do is I'll have my team locate it, send it to me, and I can email it to you, okay?
Okay, that'll work.
All right, next we have Miss Latoya. Hi, Latoya.
Hi, Christina. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm well. Oh, okay. So I have several questions too, but I want to consider that we have 6 minutes. My most important question would be, I am the trustee of land that is presently in a trust. However, I'm interested in starting an agro-tourism business on behalf of the trust. So this is the family trust. So should I sell a portion of the land to a business trust or a separate entity like a LLC?
That's a really interesting and unique and very specific question. So I don't know if you want to sell a portion to the land or if you want to lease the land to another trust so that the other trust can then run the business. It's up to you. So I don't know how to, go any further than that.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll digress and look into that further. You said lease it to another trust. So start a business trust perhaps.
Okay, so the question is, do you want to separate that parcel or do you want to keep the parcel together intact, still into that trust, and then just lease it versus selling it?
Well, I was considering selling it because I wanted to go through the USDA to apply for grants. And I have contacted the USDA and they are not familiar with trust. Like, I'm in the South, so common law is pretty much still intact here. So they are familiar with business entities such as LLCs and maybe S corporations or C corporations, but they are not familiar with trust, and I don't want to expose the private trust. I am willing to sell like a couple acres though to a LLC perhaps. and like open up the parcels, like you saying, and sell it to an LLC so it'll be easier to apply for grants.
It sounds like you answered your question, Miss Latoya.
Well, I just didn't know if that was right. If that was the right way to go. So okay, I was just guessing. Okay.
By any means necessary. So if you need to split up the parcel in order for you to accomplish what you need to accomplish, go ahead and do so.
Okay, great. And one more question. So I have an existing trucking company also that is not in trust at all, but I would like to put it in a trust. And I was listening to the lady speak about closing the EIN that was presently, it was presently a subchapter S when I was running, before I knew anything about trust. And I don't want to change that because the business is seasoned. However, I would like to convert it into a trust. Is that possible? Do you know?
So, when you say no, you can't convert, like, what is it, an S corporation or is it
Yeah.
LLC tax
It's
as an
it's
S corp?
it's a S corporation.
Okay. Yeah, so you would have to dissolve that corporation and create a trust with the same name, which I don't recommend. So,
Okay.
so you have to keep that entity intact.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
sometimes it's not advantageous
Yeah.
to dissolve your entity if it's like what you're saying, seasoned.
Yeah.
I have statutory too that I wouldn't touch because it has established credit and funding and age history and all this stuff.
Got it. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you, Christina, so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, next we have Lady Harley.
That's me, lady.
Hi.
How you doing, sweetheart? How are
I'm
you?
great, Miss Lisa. How are you?
Good. Gratitude to you. I was on your the last one, and at the end, where we were getting to ask questions, you were all dressed in yellow, looking fine, as you are with the pink. You know, they matches it.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
I wanted to let you know that last week, but anyway, my question is, okay, now my what do you call it? My mother-in-law, like, you know, not married yet, you know, we have like a fidelity account, you know what I mean, together, co-we.
Yeah.
Like she's a co-trustee, and well, she's a trustee also on an EIN, and I'm a trustee also. So can we switch back and forth with this grantor and trustee? Because she's the one here, you know, my successor, my sister is in like another part of another part of the state, you know, but because she can't be there to sign. So can we switch back and forth with the?
So wait, I don't know what you mean when you're saying switch back and forth. What does
Okay,
that mean?
we're
Do you
both.
mean that you want to be her grantor and she wants to be your grantor?
Yeah, like back. Yeah. So one could be the trustee, one could be the grantor, and vice versa on another trust.
Oh, if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah, if that's what you want to do, as long as you guys are not the same position on the same trust.
Okay. That's what I mean. That's it. So that's the way I do that. Because she's 80 some years old and she really, you know, I'm trying to teach her, but then she could go out and make her own, you know what I mean? But right now she just wants to do it this way, you know, that, and she has to get a deed, right? For her, she owns the house. So,
Yeah, she should have a deed. If she doesn't have a deed, tell her to contact her county where her deed was previously recorded.
yeah, that's way down by Trenton, but yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying about a fidelity, but I want to thank you and bow my head every time I watch you, lady. I learn more and more and more. But I have other questions. I had a couple in where when we did the setting up the seat thing, like that lady said. But anyway, I can ask coming up another class, right?
Yes. We're doing these Q&As regularly.
Cool.
So unfortunately I do have to keep it to 1 hour.
Okay. Well, I just wanted again bow my hat off to you, lady, and talk to you soon.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. So Jerome in the chat, he said, what banks do you recommend for the trust bank account? So there's a bunch of banks that I recommend. I actually gave you guys a list of banks. So I recommend Ally, I recommend US Bank, I recommend Citizens Bank, I recommend Truist Bank, I recommend TD Bank, I recommend Navy Federal. So, and I also recommend people going to their local credit unions. I always tell people to stay away from Chase Bank and Wells Fargo just because, and Bank of America, just because they ask you for your trust indenture. And so majority of those other banks don't. And then I also recommend Fidelity for brokerage and cash management. And next we have Miss Cheryl. Hi, Miss Cheryl. I haven't talked to you in a long time. I miss you. Miss Cheryl, you
Yes,
there?
I'm coming off
'Cause
of mute. Hi, Christine.
Hi,
I
beautiful
haven't
lady. I miss
talked to you
you.
in so long. I wanted to catch
I
your last
know.
class, but I was out of time. And I have so
Yes,
many
ma'am.
questions to ask you. So I was just putting in the chat if I could get on your calendar. And my
Yeah.
nephew wants to do a trust, so he wants
Okay.
to speak to you because I told him I don't know which one is better, but speaking to you, he could get that information. So
Okay.
could you give me your calendar or
Yes,
could I get
I'll
on your
send it.
calendar?
I'll send it right over, Miss Cheryl, okay?
Thank you so much,
You're
Christine.
welcome.
Yeah, I need one too. I need one too, sweetheart.
Absolutely. I know I have to send, I have to put in the chat. Hold on one second. Let me put in the chat. Jerome, do you have a question while I look for this thing in the chat? It's 8:03, so we're winding down. Um,
Christina, thank you
Jerome,
for answering. Yeah, thank you for answering my question about the banks in the chat. Thank you.
yeah, so do
That's
you
all.
have the email? Do you have the email where I gave the list of banks? Do you have that? If you don't have it, then I'll have the team send it to you.
I
Do you
will.
have
I
it?
will. I'll find it. I'll find it.
Okay, cool. Well, that's really nice. Okay. Miss Ayana, do you have a question?
Yes.
And then
Hi,
I'm gonna,
hi. Thank you
how are you?
again. I'm good. I'm good. I appreciate you. I will make it so quick because I know you have children and life to get back to.
Oh,
Um,
you so considerate. Like I love it when you guys are like this. Thank you so much. It is creeping up on their bedtime. It's 8 p.m. Yes, ma'am.
yes. So do you recommend we have different postal addresses for each trust, or it doesn't matter? And number two, if I do have a seasoned business, do you recommend for me to put inside of my my bylaws that I would like the trust to own that business and therefore be in charge of all of the receipts for it and distributions?
Yes, so I do recommend that that each trust has its own individual address. So if you're able to do that, because the virtual addresses are not free. If you're able to do that economically, then that would be the best practice. And then can you remind me of your second question?
Would you recommend that the trust be the owner of a seasoned business so that the business trust can then or accept any revenue and distributions that happens with a seasoned business as opposed to starting something new or keeping the business by itself? I know you kind of touched on that a little bit, but does that make sense? Am I?
Yeah, so I recommend that the business trust be the authorized member or owner of any business so that you can replace yourself. So it doesn't matter if you started the business yesterday or if the business has been operating for 10 years. So some people, they have disregarded entities where their LLC has been open and active, but been collecting dust and haven't been really operational. But if you have, if you have a business, then you should remove yourself as the owner and you should put the business trust as the owner.
Thank you so much for generously giving your time, and God bless you and everything
Thank
touched.
you. Thank you. You too. I appreciate you so much. Thank
You're welcome.
you. Uh, all right. Next we have Nana.
All right. So my question is simple. So I, like everybody else, got seasoned businesses. One is here and one is in Ghana. So when I was doing the documents, I put those business names as trust names. And I'm trying to save myself from having to go back and now change the trust name or change the business season name. Is it okay for me to establish bank accounts with those trust names? Even though they're sort of open in terms of not registered with the state, but they are names that, like when I go to set up at my booth at the market, everybody knows it by the business name. So do I need to go back and change that and put it in a different trust name, or is it fine, ladies? I'm hoping it's fine, because then that way I'm done.
Yeah, so oh my gosh. Thank you so much, John Mark. I appreciate you. So honestly, if you have a business and it is a public facing business, like how you have a market and you sell things to the public, if you want to operate it as a business trust, if that's the entity that you choose, that's totally fine. You can do that. And then you can go open up a bank account for that business trust. You're on mute. Oh, okay, I can hear you now. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I said that's good because, like I said, I've got the EINs for them both, and like I said, they're well known, they're well seasoned, been doing it 15 years, and I didn't want to have to go back and now name ABC Business as 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? So I wanted to just keep it the same and make sure that it's the same. Other than that, my other question was answered, so I'm done. Thank you so much. We love you so much. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
I love you too. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so someone put in the chat, does the trustee always need a social security to set up an account with these banks? So once again, it depends on the bank. Every single bank is different. From what I've experienced with several different banks, they do ask the trustee for their personal information. All right, Miss Annette. And then we are done, you guys, for this Q&A, but we're gonna have Q&As more often. So I'm gonna try to see if I can do them every other week for you, okay? Miss Annette, you have a question?
I guess it's me. Do you see me?
Yes, and
You see me?
I see your question. Yes.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I am going to try to notarize 2 FBO trusts this week, charity trust, and I still want it because it's until I die. That's what I said to you in the mail, but you said no, it has to be 100 years. But I thought, well, but then my successor trustee, who knows that it will be dissolved when I die, what shall he do then? He has to continue.
So the successor trustee is going to take over as the newly appointed trustee, and they are going to continue to operate the trust, and then they can terminate the trust at any point in time. So if you want them to terminate the trust, then it's ultimately up to them, right? It's their decision, but you can leave clear instructions with them.
Can it be in the contract or better not in the contract?
Oh, no, so you can have it in a board meeting, or you can have it in a separate agreement. So the instructions, but yes, you can have it in the inside of the trust as well. Yes. So you can either do a board meeting, you can have separate instructions, or you can have it inside of the indenture.
Yeah, because when it's in the trust, those 50 pages or 60, then it's also in the declaration on the first 4 pages. That's written how many years, or when I would write until the trustee dies, the bank can see it, what I fill out there.
Yeah, so usually we leave those areas for the resolution. And so it's up to you if you want to share with the bank the resolution.
Okay, but I can write an extra appendix, enclosure.
Yes.
I think that's the easiest one. Okay, and another one, I am of course a little bit more special than the rest. Do you recommend me banking in America or one in America, but most of the banks in Paraguay? Paraguay is not easy. It's very difficult to get a bank account. They are only letting you have $800 on the bank account until today.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that is up to you. If you know what you want, I do recommend that you have that you can have multiple accounts. So if you want to have a bank account here and a bank account overseas, that would be great. So it depends on where you're going to be operating it. Are you going to be operating it here? Because it would be advantageous. No?
No.
Okay.
For
All
me,
right.
it's offshore in Wyoming.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you. So sometimes it doesn't have either. So it can.
I don't hear you. You were gone.
Okay, hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I was saying is that sometimes you don't have to choose, right? So you don't have to choose, oh, I'm going to do it in this country or that country. You can actually do both. So you can have the bank account in Paraguay, you can have the bank account in
Yeah, I hear Americans who came to Paraguay the last few years saying they use Western Union. Is that a bank? Is that a good one to choose?
I'm not sure what Western Union offers. So what I was told, I mean, from what I've known is that Western Union is for transferring money overseas. So I don't know of them having bank accounts
Okay,
for
so then I maybe should need two, one LE bank and one to transfer, cheaper.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right, Miss Annette, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so thank you to everyone who joined us today for our live Q&A. I appreciate you guys so much. I do apologize if I wasn't able to get to all of the questions. So if you have any pending questions, which I know some of you guys had, if you could send me an email, it'll go straight to me. So I'm going to put my email in the chat. If you can just forward your question to me. I'm so sorry that it's in all caps, but if you can send it straight to me, I'll go ahead and respond so that you don't have to continue to wait for your questions to be answered. So with that being said, thank you so much for everyone that's on the call today. I love you guys so dearly. We have a lot of announcements coming soon. So I hope that you guys are in the Telegram chat and the Facebook community so that you're able to receive the announcements. All right. So everyone,
where can we find the announcement? I mean, where can we find the recording for this? Where can we find the recording?
My team is going to send out the link.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Thank you. You're a
Thank you,
sweetheart.
Christina. Love you. Good night.
Good night.
You're so welcome. Thank you. One second. The replay is also on our YouTube channel. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the link here.
Cool.
So Ms. Ramona, if you want to go ahead and watch it now, the link is available on YouTube. So did you see the link that I put in the chat?
I did.
Okay.
Yes, I see it. I see it.
Okay, you can watch the whole entire thing from beginning to end. If you go ahead and put the link here. So all right. Okay. Thank you guys.
Put that
Have a good
baby
night.
to
I'll see
bed.
you soon.
We love
Yes.
you.
I love you.